Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening introduction to LifeWave, our technology, our star of the show, X39, and a little summary of the history of this special company, along with the technology, a little bit about our founder, David Schmidt, and then we bring on our special guest. So if you're brand new tonight, you might have a pen and pad handy to take some notes. And we're going to get started by turning things over to my partner on every level, dear Gregory Muscari. Take over, honey.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So please hold on. And we're going to do a brief overview of the stem cell revolution. And I just like to, before we get started, I'd like to ask a couple of pertinent questions. And if anything were possible, if you could take out your magic wand and anything were possible, I'm going to get out of the sunlight here. What's one thing you would choose to experience differently in your health? Think about that for a moment. If there was one thing you could experience differently in your health, what would that be? And the second question is, what difference would that make for you in your life? Okay. And I just want to note that our products aren't designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose, or cure any disease. However, they do help our bodies get back into a more healthy, regenerative mode. And many times, wonderful things begin to happen. So let's go ahead and talk about the stem cell revolution, because what if you could look, feel, perform, and live younger? Would that be of interest to you? Well, stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that repair and regenerate damaged cells all throughout our body. Muscles, glands, organs, bones, you name it. Stem cells are our little repair crew. But here's the problem. The older we get, the fewer stem cells we have, and consequently, by age 60, only a small percentage remain active, and the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And what about stem cell injections? They become very popular, but you know what? They're also very expensive. They can be very painful, risky, controversial, and there's no guaranteed results. So we've got good news for you here tonight, because thanks to LifeWave, you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with our historic breakthrough in stem cell activation technology. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free. It's a patented form of phototherapy that uses very specific frequencies of light to increase and improve stem cell activity. And this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David is not only a brilliant scientist and a researcher, he's a genius inventor and already has over 100 patents and patent pendings. He's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years and has already conducted over 90 clinical studies proving the efficacy of LifeWave phototherapy products. Now, LifeWave is a 17-year-old advanced technology company. It was formed back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology developed by David for Navy SEALs to help them increase their stamina, strength, and performance without drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. It's so effective, it's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. We have headquarters, laboratories, and manufacturing in California, Utah, and Ireland, and distribution to over 70 countries with 14 global distribution centers. So the word is getting out on LifeWave, and we have our patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes all around the world in almost every sport, and the media has noticed, and you might too, if you look a little closer to pro sports, and even if you go back and look at some of the recent replays from the Olympics, you might see some of those little patches on some of those gold medalists. So how does this amazing technology work? Well, it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation. And LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals that when applied or near our body, they're activated by our body heat, and then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in our body. This is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis for our LifeWave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause very specific changes within our body. For example, when we go out in the sun, a specific frequency of light causes our body to manufacture vitamin D. We don't get a vitamin D download from the sun. Another frequency of light causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid, widely recognized scientific principle. I'm happy to tell you that for the last 12 years, our focus has been in the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And in January of 2019, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch, which truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation. Some are actually calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science. And we are really doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not been able to do. Our X39 technology actually activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our own stem cells. And at the same time, it also alters gene expression towards a younger and more vibrant you. And so X39 certainly is a game changer. It's a true breakthrough that activates your own body's stem cells. And our inventor and founder, David Schmidt, says, "This is my greatest achievement yet," but the research continues. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for me, that's very exciting information. So Robin, I'm just going to stop it right there and turn it back over to you.
Okay. Well, that was wonderful, Gregory, as always. Oops, my camera's not on. Okay, there we go. And would you promote Dr. Jeff, please?
Right now.
Because this is the time I get to introduce our doctor of the evening. And every week we have what I call our rotation of doctors. We have amazing healthcare practitioners that have joined us in LifeWave from all different directions. And this evening, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Jeffrey Hubbard, and he's an MD out of Dallas, Texas. He has a background as an MD, but an MS in physiology, and he's a lecturer, founder, and president and CEO of Comedicare, which is an innovative health and wellness ecosystem. You know, he's really committed to innovative practices and educating people in lifestyle changes. And he really does a beautiful job of combining allopathic medicine with health and wellness. And he loves our patches. Matter of fact, he does a program right before this called AskDrJeff.org. So if you want to get on that before you get on this, you can do that too. So it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Jeff.
Hi.
There you are.
How are you?
How are you?
Doing excellent. How are you guys?
Oh, good. Good. It's always a treat to see you. Where are you now? I don't recognize this background.
Well, I just moved to a new place, so this is our business center. So I recognize that this is a nice place. It's kind of got a homey atmosphere, so I decided to rent the space for the afternoon. So
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, great to see you. So
Yeah,
let's jump in, because we always like to find out. We have a lot of guests on the line, and you're new to them, we're new to them, LifeWave's new to them, and the question comes up a lot of times: why would you, as a doctor, be interested in LifeWave and this technology? What is it that attracted you?
It's so much to explain, and we don't have enough time. But you know, my journey through medicine, excuse me, has been a very interesting one. I've learned so much about the way medicine is practiced all over the place, not just here in the West. And so I was familiar with acupuncture. I was familiar with light therapy. I was familiar with Reiki and other forms of medicine. And so I just became a really like a a student of alternative medicine, and that's what got me into the preventative health side and into more of a holistic sort of approach. And I believe that the body is capable of healing itself. And so when I really started to dig into how these patches work, it was just like, whoa, this is what I've been looking for. It's like it fell right in my lap. So what a unique opportunity to raise your stem cell level, to raise your glutathione level, to raise your carnosine level, to, impact your parasympathetic nervous system. I mean, there's just so many different aspects of the patches that I was like, wow, like there's something for everything. And then, I started to play around with them and experiment them just with me. I'm always my own guinea pig. And then a couple of patients who had some stubborn things that wouldn't go away, and they were kind of fed up with not having medicines work, with not having surgeries work, and so on and so forth. And boom, just things started happening, and it was like a whirlwind. And I was just like, I don't know what to do other than just keep patching and keep, learning about this stuff. And so that's what really got me motivated. I mean, I already had a heart for trying to find alternative products and services and things that really gave the body a chance to heal itself and didn't have any sort of synthetic or manufactured way to approach it. And LifeWave was right on time.
I love it. Love it. How beautiful. I love, and all of our practitioners say the same thing. They become the guinea pig first to have their own experience, and then they start sharing it with their their patients, and you've seen some amazing results. So with people that are new to this topic called stem cells, Gregory did a little foundation, but I'd love you to take a little further of, helping people understand, what is a stem cell and why is it so important, especially as we're aging?
Well, so where do we start? In utero, we are all stem cells. I mean, stem cells are the most primitive sort of cell, and they're capable of becoming what we consider to be adult cells. So embryologically, we start off as 3 layers of tissue: the endoderm, the mesoderm, and the ectoderm. And so stem cells are capable of becoming any of those particular tissue types. So when you think ectoderm, you think hair, skin, nails, nervous system, brain. Mesoderm is like our muscle, our bone, our lungs, cardiovascular system, kidneys. And then endoderm is all our gastrointestinal tract. So our esophagus, stomach, intestines, liver, and down the tract. So no matter what your ailment is, these stem cells are going in and specifically targeting inflammation, scar tissue, any sort of trauma, any sort of issue, just worn out cells in general. And so the big deal is that as we age, I'll be 39 in a couple of weeks, I'm operating about 50% of my normal stem cell. Somebody who's in their 60s, 65 is operating at about 10% of their normal stem cell capacity. So it's simply the difference between a kiddo that's 10, falling out of the tree, breaking his wrist. He's out of that cast in 3 weeks. Somebody falls and breaks their wrist at 75, their wrist may never be the same. So that's the difference between what stem cells can do as a young person when you're operating 98, 100% of your stem cells. Excuse me. And operating at 10%. I mean, it's just night and day. And so stem cells just give us the capability to heal and rebuild.
Beautiful, beautiful. So the older we get, the less we have, the faster we age, the slower we heal, like Gregory said.
Yep.
Not pretty as we get older, but we have a new paradigm here with LifeWave, which is very exciting. And this is truly a historic breakthrough. So this product is, who's it for and who isn't it for?
Well, with my opinion, is for everyone. I think everyone should be wearing X39. And the other patches have their own specific rationale and reasoning for why you should wear them also. But that, I know we're focusing so I won't go off on a tangent. But 39, it's for everyone. I mean, obviously, a younger person may not have the necessity to wear it every day like you or I, but there still is an emphasis for raising stem cell level. If they're an athlete, if they have an injury, if they have a surgery, if they get ill for any reason, if there's anything else going on with them, this applies. Obviously, there's no ethnicity, there's no socioeconomic status. I mean, everyone should be wearing this, and I think there's rationale for each and every person to do it.
Okay, beautiful. And how long does it take for people to experience a benefit from wearing this particular unique technology called X39?
That's a great question. I mean, the average person, I'd say 75 to 80% of us have what we consider to be a early onset experience. Within a couple of hours, couple of days, couple of weeks, they're going to start to notice a difference. But to me, the sweet spot is really 90 to 120 days. That should be your commitment, guys. If you're serious about this and you really want to see how this technology works, I give it a good 90 days. And then in 90 days, you're going to notice something. Now, that's the key, because most people miss it. They don't even realize that they're different. They don't realize that something's changed. So you got to write a list of things that just aren't quite the same as they used to be, and then revisit that list, and you'll notice, wow, that thing that happens with my neck, that doesn't happen anymore. Or, oh, I get up so refreshed these days. I don't need that cup of coffee anymore. Or, I can get out and play with my grandkids, and I've got all the energy in the world. Those are some of the things that I hear people say to me when they don't have something specific that they already are looking to improve by wearing the patch.
Okay, well, that was really wise of you to share that. It's really a good idea, and we do have a health tracker, but you can just keep your own personal journal and get a baseline of what it was like before you started. And then these surprises happen because it's cumulative. And, I was wanting the pain in my knee to go away, and it did. And then my skin got better, and my hair got better, and my crooked finger straightened out, just and taking pictures of scars and taking picture of fine lines and wrinkles, because in time they change. And thank you so much for saying give it 90 to 120 days. And we recommend most people start just with X39 because it's so comprehensive. What other things do people need to do to make sure they get the maximum benefit of this product?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of patients, I get them so excited about the patch, they forget that they need to do the other important things to be healthy on top of that, right? This patch does not fix eating a crappy diet. It doesn't fix poor gut health. It doesn't fix smoking and drinking too much. These are things that you gotta curb on top of wearing the patches. But the big things, hydration, number one. We should be drinking about 2/3 of our body weight in ounces every day. So make that calculation, figure out how many ounces you should be drinking, get you a container, mark off how many ounces you should be drinking, and make sure you get your water in every day. 2, minerals and vitamins and nutrients. Our diets, guys, they just suck these days. Plants, excuse me, everything that we should be having on a daily basis is just not there in our food. So we have to supplement. So that's really important. Specifically, magnesium, zinc, and copper. Those are the 3 minerals that LifeWave and Mr. Schmidt recommend are really valuable and important, that helps to raise the functionality of the patches. But you should try to get all of your 92 daily vitamins, minerals, and nutrients.
I love it. And, I've heard that our soil is so depleted, even if we're eating organic, that we definitely need to supplement. And I love what you said, Dr. Jeff, because, the patch is magical. It is miraculous, but we have to do our part. And I love how David Schmidt talks about that also. Lifestyle is really important. Nutrition, hydration, rest, all those things, movement are all important to do our part of the deal. Okay. What else do you want to share before we open things up for our guests to ask some questions and share stories? And if you do have a story to share, a question to ask, raise your hand and then we'll call on you. And you can write your question in the chat. And if you have a story to share, we'll try to unmute you so you can share. So raise your hand. All right. Anything else, Dr. Jeff, that you want to make sure you mention? Because you've been doing this for almost 2 years now, right?
Yes, coming up on 2 years.
You've seen a few lives change, haven't you?
I've seen quite a few lives change, actually. And, the biggest thing, guys, is consistency. I know times are tough. We're still going through this pandemic. Money's tight. But I guarantee you, if you commit to this for the 90 days, you're going to have a breakthrough. Then you get to 6 months, you're going to have a breakthrough. You get to a year, and it just keeps happening. I keep expecting for it to like plateau and like something to happen. And I keep seeing changes. I keep, seeing things happen that are just simply miraculous. So that's what I would say is just keep patching, keep sticking, and let the magic happen.
All right. Peel and stick and be consistent.
That's it.
The compliance is much easier on this product than anything I've ever experienced.
It's so simple. It's almost impossible to screw it up. Just patch it, boom, put it on there and keep rolling.
So how long do people wear the patch?
So the recommended dose is 12 hours. So 12 hours on, 12 hours off is the way that LifeWave recommends. You could extend it. You can say 24 hours on, 24 hours off, if that's more comfortable for you. What I personally do is I wear a nighttime regimen and a daytime regimen. And so I have 12 hours that I dedicate during the day to certain patches and 12 hours at night that I dedicate to certain patches. And some might be saying, well, Jeff, you're wearing them all 24/7. Isn't that actually each patch has a unique frequency? So you don't want your body to acclimate to that frequency. But as long as you switch out the frequencies, you're fine. So you can wear them 24/7, just not the same patches 24/7.
Thank you for that clarification. That's really helpful. And it's okay if you're off a few hours here and there, and it's fine. You're not going to hurt anything. The body just needs a break from the frequency. Okay, we got a whole bunch of people that want to ask some questions, and Tammy has a share. So let's see. Mary is saying that she has a customer that has a pain down his leg, and he's tried X39 and Eon and hasn't really noticed anything. Is there something else that that he could do?
So the pain down the leg sounds like a low back injury, possibly. If that's the case, I have found a lot of success with individuals with ice wave. And you do ice wave, something called trapping the pain. You would take the white patch and you would place it along the level of the spinal column where the injury is taking place. Normally, when you have that shooting pain down the back of the buttock and into the hamstring, it's L4, L5. And if you patch along there and then place the tan patch down the leg that's bothering you the most, below the lowest point of the pain, that tends to seem to make a difference. And so X39 and Eon are more of a long-term fix. If you're looking to get rid of that pain today, right now, ice wave is probably the best choice.
Great. Thank you for that. And what was the term you used? What did you call it? Tracking?
Trapping.
Trapping.
Like the pain is in between the two patches. You trap the pain in between the two patches.
Great. Thank you for suggesting that, because there's no right or wrong way. And sometimes you got to experiment and trust your instincts and try some new things. So that's great. So Colin is saying grade 2, grade 3 hip flexor tear. Used X39 ice wave to them. What's the best location to place and the combination of these? And should I be using both at the same time?
I would be really heavy X39 at night when you're not using that hip. Allow for the stem cells to go in there and to begin to repair some of the damage and stuff while you're laying still. I'm not sure how much ambulation you're capable of doing or how much you're getting around, but I would try to minimize it as best as possible. Eon is going to help, just with the stress of all of it all together and probably help with some of the inflammation. Ice Wave is probably the best way for you to do your daily responsibilities. So again, I probably would try the clock method around the hip. The clock method goes, place the tan patch right on the pain itself and then situate the white patch 12, 3, 6, 9, and see which one fits best where you notice that you receive the most reduction in pain. Flip the patches if that doesn't work. If you get through all 4 points and that's not helping, put the white patch in the center right on the pain and then systematically go around. That's the clock method. That's actually documented in the booklet as well. And then there's a lot of cool videos on YouTube that can kind of help you to understand how to maximize that clock method. Then from there, I noticed that there's just a lot of key acupoints that tend to just dampen the pain. You can go underneath the feet at kidney 1, tan under the left foot, white under the right foot. Liver, large intestine 4 right here is just an excellent pain reliever. You can try to put those there. Only issue with that is that you're washing your hands and you use the hand sanitizer everywhere. So that can kind of suck because if the patches don't stick well, they'll fall off. So you might have to try that at night. But the biggest thing, man, is to maximize your sleep and to try to rebuild that hip while you sleep.
Beautiful. So the patches could be worn day or night. And with that kind of challenge, it sounds like wearing it at night when your body's not mobile can give the best amount of benefit. And Kiro just wanted to pitch in and say, I can certainly vouch for X39's effectiveness for post-surgery recovery. Kira, thank you for that. We hear stories all the time. The doctors and medical professionals are blown away with how fast people are healing. And if you do your own research on that copper peptide Gregory talked about, one of the things is accelerated healing. Let's see, Tammy said, we've been told that anyone who has had an organ transplant to not use X39. What about if it was 30 years ago and they are still on anti-rejection meds?
That's the whole problem, is the anti-rejection drugs. So we just want to stay away from that because obviously the worst case scenario is that your organ rejects and for some reason your immune system goes in there and attacks that kidney, attacks that heart, attacks that liver. That's catastrophic, guys. So you just bear with it and just don't do it. Don't do it. Use the other patches, but the X39 is going to be off limits on that one.
Good. So I hope everyone heard that because that's more important to make sure that your body doesn't reject that organ. Okay, so if you're on any kind of anti-rejection meds, no X39. Okay, I have a client who has a burning pain in her feet all the time. What patches and where to put them?
Carnosine is your best friend. Carnosine is well documented to address inflammation and neuropathy in the feet and in the hands. So again, there's all sorts of great acupuncture locations in and around the feet. Liver 3 is a great one. Kidney 1 is a great one. Kidney 3 is a great one. Bladder 60 is a great one. Just pick one, experiment, but you can put it anywhere. And you're going to start to see some decline in the numbness and tingling.
Beautiful. And all these mentions that Dr. Jeff is talking about with the acupuncture points, you can look those up. You can get charts. You can just do a search online, very easy. And in each with each patch, it comes with a booklet that has pictures to make it really easy. So you don't need to be an acupuncturist. You don't need to know the whole meridian system. It's easy to figure it out. Ernestine wants to know, is magnesium oil effective as taking it orally?
Yes, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Magnesium is magnesium is magnesium. I read a book that said you could plug yourself up to a magnesium IV bag and still be deficient.
Okay.
That's how bad we're deficient in magnesium. So there's all sorts of sprays. I mean, they're not all created equal, but I think, you know, if you put a good dose on, you will absorb it. Unfortunately, the sprays, they do itch. They do kind of have a little sensation. So just be prepared for that.
Okay. Lots of different ways to get your magnesium. Ray King wants to know, Dr. Jeff, can you explain the physiological explosion that occurs once a person puts the patch on?
The physiological explosion. That's a good one.
I've not heard that term before.
Let's see. So, you know, you apply the patch, and then we're emitting, you know, all of this, what I call metabolic waste, right? Our body is going through these processes all day to maintain our functionality. So we're emitting this body heat. The body heat is actually a form of light. That light interacts with the patches and the liquid nanocrystal in the patch, and it reflects back into the skin. So from there, it's really about chemical explosion, not a physiological explosion, because the body is responding to this frequency. And I wish I had like a diagram or something that you could see, but in my head, the way I think about it is, like in medical school, we learned about the way that our body synthesizes vitamin D. And light comes in and they show this huge chemical reaction that takes place after the body experiences certain frequencies of light that create vitamin D. And so there's receptors on the edge of the cells, and those receptors respond to the frequency of light, and then they send a cascade of events inside the cell that begin to change the way that the cell functions. I hope that's a good enough explanation without getting too technical.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. And someone just said, you are so clear, Dr. Jeff. Thank you so much. So that's always a trick, knowing as much as you know to be able to translate it for the average person. And you're doing a fabulous job. Comfort Oho, if you have had your thyroid removed, is there any patch to avoid?
No, not really. However, there are a couple of patches, Nirvana, Alavita, SP6 Complete, that their emphasis is on changing hormones. So what I would say is typically what happens is when you remove the thyroid, you have to replace thyroid hormone synthetically. So it's always a situation where you want to be really close with your endocrinologist or with your internist, who's ever managing those drugs that you're taking, because you might need to adjust your dose when the patches start working really effectively. So be looking for things that, in your situation, Comfort, that means that your thyroid symptoms would go up, which means that you might need to reduce the dose of your thyroid medicine. So things like overactivity, jitteriness, maybe loss of weight, all of the things on the other side of being low thyroid. And that might mean, hey, we need to tune down your dose of your medicine just a little bit. So I would just say consult your doc, whomever's prescribing your thyroid medicine for you.
Great. Thank you for that. And it always important to know. And Victoria's saying she had a customer mention that she actually cut the patches in half and used them on her senior dog with good results. Is cutting patches in half a good idea?
No,
No, no, no.
you were going to say on a person. And there's actually been a lot of people who do this. So don't feel bad for cutting them in half. I don't know. Somebody's been miseducating people about cutting the patches in half. What I would do for your dog is you wear the patch for a day and then you let your dog wear the patch for a day and put it on the collar. Or if they have something with their ear, maybe you can go inside the ear. But typically it's a waste to put it on the fur because it's just going to fall off.
Good point. Yeah, we put it, we have 5 animals and they're all wearing patches. And so we take half the adhesive off, put it on us. Then the next day it goes on their dog tag. And we had a miracle result with our cat. Like he came back to life from being close to not being gone.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. We hear amazing animal stories. So the patches are great for the animals too. And Comfort Oho is asking, how do you purchase and cost? So please get back to the person that invited you and they'll give you all that information. And let me see if there's anyone else. Yeah. Never cut the patches.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Where can I get a printed copy of all the patches and where to place them? Okay, well, let me answer this one because I don't know if you know that, I don't know if you've been to our nitty gritty website, but under nittygritty101.com, there's a summary of all the booklet placements of each one of the patches, and it's under the patch section, and you'll be able to see all those in one place, Richard. Okay.
That's cool.
Okay, and Victoria wants to know what should she tell this person about not cutting them?
That you don't want the liquid nanocrystal to come out.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
The inside of the patch is the magic. You don't want to fool with that internal environment of the patch process. So that's just
Great.
enough.
Great. I hope everyone heard that. Yeah, the patch is fully functioning when it's all complete. If you
Right.
open it up, you're losing some of the vital ingredients that make it work. So we don't want to do that. Okay, I think we covered just about everyone tonight. And I do want to mention that Kira, I think, also said her physical therapist and her doctor were quite surprised that she had 95% mobility and extension of her arm and shoulder after 4 months, and she was 72. So it's working. Yeah, I know. Don't we love it? We love it. We love it. We love hearing people. Oh, one more. Denise wants to ask, can we take too much magnesium?
From what I understand and have read, no.
Good to know.
There's just not enough. We're so deficient in magnesium. There's just not enough.
Good to know. So I'm going to write down in the chat, askdrjeff.org at, it would be 5:30 Pacific on Tuesdays.
Day night.
And then if people want to reach you for a consult, what number should they call?
Have them email me.
Okay.
So it's Dr. Dr. JB, my last name Hubbard, HUBBARD, MD, my credentials at Gmail.
Great.
And that is a specific LifeWave question and answer email. So if you're emailing me there, I know exactly why you're emailing me, and I do my best to get back to everybody as soon as possible.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much. And you do consults if someone wants to call and have a specific consult with you, correct?
Love to do a one-on-one with anybody who's interested. Now that is a paid service, but
yes,
it's well worth it. And we get right to your specific need. We design a patch protocol for you, and I can give you all of my other expertise if you like.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Jeff. As always, wonderful to have you. Appreciate you. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Yes, and if you are new to this call, and several of you sound like you are with some of the questions, please get back to the person that invited you and they'll give you the information you need. We have a wonderful customer program. And if you're the kind of the person that likes to share, we have a generous compensation program with our member distributor program. So please be sure to let them know which one of those you are. And I put Dr. Jeff's contact info in there. And thank you, Dr. Jeff. Thank you, Gregory, for that great presentation. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will say good night. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.